ESL Pro League. I was just a little nervous about my microphone. It was getting a bit wobbly, but I'm Alex Machine Richardson, and I'm joined by Vendetta and now D-Man, who has transported and teleported and swapped with Pansy, who'll be casting for your next game. Guys, we're going into our hot match of the week, of course, proudly brought to you by The Score Esports, and it is going to be a big one. NiP Fnatic. Now, I don't know how long ago this was for some of you at home, because sometimes esports minutes feel like days, but Kavita wasn't too long ago, and this is going to be a very big rematch. I'll let D-Man lay it out.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. 16-14 at the time. I spoke to NiP that night. They were so devastated. So devastated. I think it was, what was it, 13-12 or 13-13 at one point, where they were down to a 4-on-2 situation, Fnatic with 2 members, and they still came out on top, and NiP were just like, oh. And then there was the defuse, the 1 hit point defuse. There were so many moments in this game where they were devastated about it. I mean, it was Freiberg, I think, that was doing the spray down, wasn't he, that ended up getting the guy down to the 1 hit point.
That's right.
And he was just like, he's like, you know how many hit points he had? You know how many? I was like, I do, Adam. I know. It was just the 1 hit point, yeah. But 16-14 was the score there, and obviously that was on Inferno. Inferno is one of the maps tonight along with Cash, so they're going to be thinking back to that and thinking they want revenge. But the problem is, can they get it? I'm not sure.
You starting to doubt the NiP dream?
I really like the NiP guys, but Fnatic are pretty unstoppable at the moment.
It's hard to look past them, right?
They lost the mouse, though.
Well, that's the thing. I think like tournament, LAN event, Fnatic is a different beast than potentially online Fnatic. And we saw that yesterday because they could have, or they should have, closed out Mouse Sports in that Dust 2 game pretty quickly. They should have won that pistol round in the second half, and that would have been done and dusted. It would have been, the end result would have been 16-3, something to that effect. Instead, they fool around a bit, and it ends up getting out of hand. Mouse Sports come back, end up winning the game. That could potentially happen in this game as well. And we've seen it pretty much every time NiP and Fnatic face up against each other, especially on Inferno. It becomes a great game. It's always competitive. It's always close. So, yeah, I'm not going to rule out that NiP managed to grab 1 map, but I think Cash is going to be out of control.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Do you not think NiP are going to have a good chance on there? They beat them was not too long ago in the Fragment Masters. 16-6, yeah. It was pretty dominant.
But different lineups and different times. I think also NiP are going through a bit of a restructure, having Threat coming into the lineup, so they're going to be playing a different style. Not that I think the previous style that NiP had on Cash would be superior to the one they're hoping to implement through Threat. I think I actually like the way Threat's previous teams have played on Cash. Quite a bit, but I think it might be still a tiny bit too early for them to be able to show their full potential.
That was going to be my next question, is has enough time passed to start seeing that Threat impact? Because, you know, the first couple of events, people immediately were like, oh my God, look, he's done nothing.
I think you can see that.
No, but it has to, surely, because they've got, what, 2 weeks before the major? It has to be starting to make an impact now, or they're not going to get a chance to.
No, I think it's going to be, I think you can see the difference in how NiP plays, and you can see that it's a positive change. It's something that's going to be sustainable for the future, but I don't think you can expect the full potential of having Threat behind you and actually doing the in-game leading for you until a couple of months.
Okay, so we'll give him a little longer, but still already we're seeing changes for the NiP side. One of the members in particular we want to take a closer look at as we delve into Cash. Forest is the player that's been chosen to investigate further, as he is someone that stands out so damn brightly, both in statistics and when you're watching him. I'll let those kind of numbers speak for themselves, but definitely a player to keep your eyes on going into Cash.
Absolutely, and especially obviously with Alu no longer on the team, Forest is the man that's had to step up with the rifle, with the AWP as well. And it's worked out actually all right for him. Yeah. He's seemed to be finding that old confidence that he had. We saw glimmers of it when Alu was there. Forest was starting to use the AWP more and more and more. Especially we're going to see it probably on B site on Cash quite a lot. It is the position he likes to play a lot. But I don't know whether we use it so much on Inferno, but definitely on Cash, but he has been a player that stepped up pretty big off late.
Well, on that B side, you mentioned it already. I think one of the reasons we wanted to highlight that was the percentage he actually gets the entry on. On CT side, he goes aggressive with the AWP on B, sometimes regarded as a bit of a risky strategy. But taking that, he's been getting it very often. It was like an 80+% entry kill to round win percentage, which basically means if he's hitting his first shot, all of a sudden the round is going the way of NiP very, very often. So we're going to be keeping our eyes on that kind of Forest Freiberg B defense on the CT side, Cash.
I know there's also, we had a discussion about who we were going to put in there. Get Right's also stepped up quite a bit considerably lately. the big issue is that he is against Fnatic this time around. It's not somebody that's going to fall for his mind games that he likes to try and play on people, so they're kind of going to be expecting it. I
get a feeling we've got a bit of a split desk here, but I need to push you very quickly for some predictions, Lee. You seemed a bit surprised that Halvor was doubting them.
Yeah, I'm going for 2-0 with Fnatic, only for the fact that just Fnatic are beasts right now. Yeah. I can't see them...
I guess, yeah, so it's not that different for me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Mouse game did kind of surprise a lot of people, but it was on Dust 2. It was literally the map that you would expect. If Mouse got a chance to beat anyone, it's on Dust 2.
Yeah, right, Halvor, quickly.
No, I think it's going to be 2-0 for Fnatic as well, but yeah, just to be boring. But I think NiP has a fighting chance.
I'm going to get messages from NiP now.
It's time for the Swedish affair to begin right here, right now. Just our first of these 2 best of ones, and your casting pair are ready as well, so take it away, you two.
We have coming through with these two. We have NiP up against Fnatic. Semler, the honorary Swede on occasion. You've got a good matchup in front of you here, don't you?
On occasion? Come on.
You're afraid for G2, and now we're Swedish, are we? Is this a primary now?
That's exactly how it works.
Gotcha.
You know,
how dare I doubt it?
I just play all the cards. You know, I play it all.
Smart man. You're a smart man.
It makes it very fun. You know, I'm always a winner. You see, that's how it goes. If NA someday wins something, then I can just say I'm rooting for them since the start, right? But seeing as how Fnatic, I'm still a winner because honorary Swede, Fnatic are the best team in the world. It's pretty straightforward, right? Don't lose too much.
So NiP
apart from when I play on stage.
We won't relive those moments, don't worry. We're not going to go back to that. We won't. But let's talk through this matchup, because people are starting to believe in NiP a little bit here, right? And we talk about belief a lot, but NiP have had some good results. We have the rematch from Katowice on Inferno coming up as well, which is between these two, which is pretty impressive, and something that's going to be haunting NiP for a while, I can imagine. But this is going to be a beautiful matchup, I can imagine, in their minds as well. But on paper, you look at it, really, being a realist in this, and you go, well, this is Fnatic through and through, right?
Yes, but the fun thing here is that both of these teams have a similar style. They used to, right? NiP were like the lower grade version of Fnatic, where Fnatic love to take aim duels. They love to just go play off individual, and they had that team play, right? So it was individual play and team play, but basically very little in the strat department. Now, NiP, they still have that style, but they have Threat coming into it, where he actually has, a game plan going into it. He has set strats that he wants the team to run, and so that's what can make the difference here for NiP. They have some firepower, but will the addition of these strategies actually, make the difference versus Fnatic, who are still pretty loose? It's not like Flusha's really calling very set strats. Nice shot there from Get Right onto Crims, at least, to start.
But will they expect the 3-man stack piling through mid? Pitt's going to see that. He's going to shoulder peek out, back away, hold a more passive angle. Get Right's kind of in a bit of a predicament now. He's going to be pinched into here. Flush a little late towards main, but actually Pitt going to be holding down by that truck, just going to be buying his time. And actually they've let Fnatic get a fair foot to this site. So bomb's going to be pretty much planted safely here. The 4 players from NiP all coming through truck side. And Dennis is going to have a great time in this. The guy you probably don't want to face with a pistol right now, lining them up and not quite knocking them down just yet. And hey, we've got an advantage for NiP in this one.
Yeah, how did that happen all of a sudden? Where were Dennis's teammates? Guess they were expecting some kind of flank to come through. Not expecting everybody to come through CT. Now it is definitely a little bit more of a cheeky situation. Look at this from Flusha. Flusha, no way, dude. No way! So sick. Flusha's like, get wrecked, son. They're going to have the time for the defuse at the end, but... Freiburg.
It's Freiburg of all people. He's the one who got diffused on before. Oh man, he must hate this. But
that's how so it's like when sometimes you get those really sad situations, right, where a dog gets snake bit because it was sticking its muzzle into this hole. And it was just it's ruffling around looking for food. Oh, this smells nice, and then a snake just gets him on the nose. Flusha, man. Ruthless.
Absolutely brutal play coming out. That is sick. All right, 4-1 split from Fnatic now. Going to have Flusha on the rifle. Of course, that knife going to get him straight onto that. And Freiburg's normally the player on B, so he might have the same fate again if he's not careful, sticking on the SMG this time. So, again, down to Fnatic. What are you going to find in this one? Got a lot of time to play with. Good bit of utility as well. They've really supplemented themselves into this. So, Forest and Freiburg, if the hit comes their way, they better be ready for this.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a bit touch and go because Fnatic are so good with the pistols. JW with that CZ75, and well, Flusha as well. That's the thing. Flusha probably the best CZ75 player in the world. That guy is a monster with this pistol. He might as well have a rifle. So actually, handing off the rifle, I don't know if I'd give it to JW, but handing off the rifle to somebody else, it's not that big a loss for Flusha. He can still be so effective.
see if he can be. Already Olaf's found Pit on the rotate there. He's going to be locking down mid. But there we go. Finally, Forest can start dealing with the threat coming their way. Great stuff from Forest being the anchor on the B site, not allowing Fnatic to push too far. And the pop flash just allows GetRight the time to adjust with the P90. And there we go. Maybe not the cleanest of first rounds, but the second coming through a little bit better for NiP. They're dealing well with Fnatic, taking their time on that B hit.
Can we get the replay?
Yeah, let's see that.
Is it too late? It's probably a little
be.
bit too late to get that replay. I was just curious, who was JW shooting at? Was it Forest up on the box?
It was Forest on the box.
Is Forest on the box? Wow. Yeah, so that's where, you kind of wonder, like, had you given that to Crims or to Dennis even?
You'd assume they'd hit that
you know,
shot, right?
exactly. It's like that shot where you... Oh, no, it was Forest. It was Forest at the back,
Yeah.
so it was Freiburg who was drawing the shot. It was Forest at the back. Yeah, still, I mean, you need to get that initial frag if you're given such a good opportunity.
Kind of surprising they didn't. As you said, like, you'd imagine some of those Fnatic players hitting that every day of the week. Someone just sat out there like that on the swing out.
JW had an op, maybe.
Yeah, no problem. It'd be all over. But here you go. Fnatic now down on a very clean eco. Just a couple of P250s. Pit, you don't want to be doing that. Don't feed the beast.
Now JW hits the headshots.
Of course. Why wouldn't that be the case? If Fnatic get any more kills out of this, that'd be ridiculous as well, considering they have so little.
Oh, but they sneak the bomb across. No, never mind. Spoke too soon. GetRight's on short with the P90. Does not let him get across onto the site with that bomb. So no bomb plant, no bonus money here, and Dennis trying to do the best that he can, but he'll get caught out by Forest in the end. Actually, a very solid anti-eco situation there for NiP. The fact that they keep 4 alive, that was there was definitely... It was a little scary there. GetRight got dropped low. They got the headshots in, but still... Fnatic, they're not a team to dwell on past rounds. They're a team who, focus very much on the present, on just getting the job done here. And so now they've got the AKs. They've got a decent nade count, enough for an execute. So we got to see.
Now this is different. It's been Forest, the dominant AWPer so far throughout this map at the minimum. Now they're going to leave pretty much Pit to solo out on A. He's going to have the AWP down by quad. Now, normally Fnatic do like that split towards Squeaky. Generally, I'm pretty sure it's Crims going that way, but Olaf's already been picked off by main. Good stuff by Pit, but that's going to raise alarm bells going, why is Pit on A with an AWP? That's the last thing we expected, and maybe a little bit of adaptation coming out, and there's the counter boost. GetRight looking like he wants to change things up here, and why not? He's got a P90, but now Pit's going to be under pressure. The lineup comes out. He almost hits the double. Not going to be the case, however. But look who's lurking in the background, and JW's got to hear that. He tries to take the fight. He does end up getting tagged, but it's down to a 2v2, and this could be a plant coming in.
Yeah, rotate coming in now as well from JW, so he'll be able to get into A main and actually be able to lock that down. It's Crims on the site with full HP. Best kind of anchor man you want. He's so consistent in finding the kills at playing these sorts of situations. He's really going to make NiP work for this. He's checking upper. JW, however, is going for the long con. So this is why Crims, he just needs to stay alive. He needs to hope that he gets it right because there we go. JW.
What? Yeah,
look up to the sky, JW, and wonder because I have no idea.
That is... So the first one, okay, that's unlucky. When he tried to hit B, didn't hit the shot with the rifle. Okay. Second, he had an absolute sitter, and Crims was depending on this. Look at this.
He doesn't hit a single bullet. Oh, man, that's painful. JW's got to be wondering what the hell just happened.
And this now gives NiP a window. If they win this one, they're starting to look a little dangerous. Okay, we've got a match on our hands. If JW's not turning up, that's a big factor for Fnatic, maybe removed. But then again, he's not had the AWP. That's what we're saying maybe could change that. But this could be interesting now. Suddenly, we've got a little bit of a case to look at here. GetRight's going aggressive now. Fnatic do check this every single time. Dennis is not going to fall for that. Exist now the only man on the A site. Has to try and do some work. Only finds one. Now, what can the 3 remaining NiP players do? The bomb's going to be... Actually, no, it's not down. It's kind of just stuck there by short.
Yeah, they mess up smokes as well. It's a bit interesting here. The fact that Fnatic are looking just a little rusty. Curious as to if they're putting in the hours these days or if they decided to have a little bit of a vacation. Maybe that's the case. As not seeing that crisp dominance coming out from them, that crisp play. It's definitely looking a little bit on the sloppy side. Crims, forklift, spots the shoulder, doesn't hit the shot, but then Flusha's there to dunk a nade onto Forest, and Pyth the last man alive here. 1v1 situation. Pyth has to know that Flush is playing from behind quad boxes, though, so this should definitely be a winnable situation for him if he can just guess the angle right and catch Flusha looking the wrong way. There it is.
Everything. And there he gets it. Nicely done. Diffusing coming. He had a kit as well. 3 HP makes a difference in the end, but that was close. The point being, though, Fnatic are not the Fnatic we expect mentally. It's like, okay, you normally see that situation, you normally see these players in these spots, you're like, they hit that shot every day of the week. It's not necessarily everything else. It's not how they're posturing themselves. Just a little bit of a slow start, maybe. First game of the day, maybe not to put in the hours just yet. Got to take it as is. But it does mean it's a 5-0 to NiP at the moment. Now we've got the AWP on JW. This could make a difference, but will he be frustrated? Will he go for maybe a little bit of a shot? He shouldn't at this point, but then again, one of the best AWPs in the world. I'm sure he has this under wraps. But yeah, this is a different start to what I expected.
Yeah, I can't blame him if they decided to take a break after Katowice.
No.
I mean, we've only won the last 6 LANs, international LANs that we've attended. We've only made like $500,000, $600,000 in the past, 3 months. Bit rough, bit rough. Go ahead, hit the Bahamas for a week, then come back and start playing up against these guys who have been grinding for a while now. Because NiP right now, they are trying to put in the hours to play catch up, try and close that gap with the top tier. It's paying off so far, at least. A little bit of a weak Fnatic, and that's all NiP need.
It wouldn't be a bad thing to start on, but Olaf is not a player who seems to turn down in form at the moment. Whether it's a thing replicated through the team, yet to be seen, but here we go. Nice little trade up from Exist. Expects the reflex coming out through the squeaky door, but not going to find it initially. Knows that Dennis is probably on the left side of it, going to back away from that and maybe look to see where the rest of Fnatic are going to come from. If they're going to be holding that highway push-up, but actually going to fall back to side. Bad timing on that one. Flush is going to take mid-control. And Forrest just swings out straight on the fight. He gets JW down. He knows there's more. Oh, Forrest. That was beautiful work from him. And now Exist actually can focus on what's going through A main. Takes down the bomb. Now they've got that. It's down to Dennis. Now, they've got to know he was the man in Squeaky, so everyone closing in towards the side. 25 seconds. Let's go for the flash. Nice little pick up towards Forrest. Now down to a 1v2. Started to look a little bit possible then, but Freiburg finds it, and NiP keeping this pretty clean so far. Doesn't get the AWP. Misses
the AWP. Force has got money to buy another one if he wants, or Freiburg can drop one, Exist can drop one, so if they really want to go for it, that's up to Pyth, it seems.
6 bullets.
Yeah, look at this. Man, that is some confidence right there to take that fight straight up. Super sick.
Play.
That's some OG Force right there. Oh man, and Fnatic, they are just not getting anything going here. So far, the clutch rounds have been going NiP's way, the solid rounds as well, the big gun rounds. And Fnatic, I mean, they've been buying a lot. They just keep on buying. They're not willing to take a step back and go for some kind of quasi-buy with Tech-9s and Kevlar. They just keep going for it round after round. So 3 rifles, a Tech-9, and a Deagle this round. I mean, we've seen some pretty explosive rounds from Dennis in the past with the Deagle, so that's basically what Fnatic are going to be banking on here, just hoping that somebody comes up with a sick play.
The thing is that normally it's NiP struggling on their CT side. You saw it against Mouse. It really wasn't a nice picture from them, but JW's found one, but Pip being a little more aggressive in mid, not being spotted out by Dennis early on, means that he's going to get the chance to even pick up more. Support comes in from Exist, and there you have it. You've got a 4v2 on your hands, and at least Fnatic will get the rifles to be put around the players remaining. Flush has picked up the one off his teammate there, but this is not pretty, and Olaf going to be spammed out, caught out, Get Right finds it, and alright NiP, this is suddenly looking like a bit of a big game coming out, and Fnatic do look off.
Yeah, they do look just a touch off right now. Oh no, Flusha messing up the nade as well. Does manage to actually whip around and put some more damage on the Pyth with the backstab there. But it's still a 1v4 situation. Should be unlosable here for NiP. Flusha with the big one, gonna pick up the first, gets the second as well. He knows there's a man at his back now, so he just needs to figure out where the remaining player is coming from. And he's got so much time to work with, 30 seconds. If he catches the man out in CT, or finds out that there is nobody in CT, does he rotate? I mean, he's running out of time here. 20 seconds. He needs to make up his mind. He's going to have to be going now. I mean, 15 seconds. It's running out. He's going to have to just charge for B side at this point. Flusha, what's going on here? 10 seconds left. He was close enough. Pyth was close enough to hear the steps. 8-7. He has to plant default now, plant safe, and he just barely makes it in time. Flusha cutting it so close.
But now he can take a quick fight towards Pit. Smart play from him to back out of that, but it looks like he's chomping at the bit to take the fight, and that is a mistake. Flush has now got a 1v1. It's against Forrest, but who would you bank your money on right now? It's got to be Forrest in that just by a whisker, but that got way too close for comfort. Sure, Fnatic may not be in prime form, but you cannot underestimate any of these individuals to start hitting these shots at these moments.
Never underestimate Flusha. The hell was that? Running down the clock, just waiting. And it's poor luck, actually, that Pyth was so close.
Yeah.
But this is just crazy. If he could have got the cleaner fight there, the fact that he had 36 HP left, if he could have got rid of Get Right just a little bit faster, oh, man. What I'm getting at is if he'd had just a little bit more HP to deal with Forrest, we might have, because he hits the first bullet on Forrest as well, so it might have been a totally different situation there. And just a little bit too long there, a little bit too slow. Wolfmeister getting punished. Pyth pushes up close, actually gives it away. Does a little bit of damage there to Flusha. And NiP right now are showing to Fnatic that they're just not afraid.
It's dangerous. You know, Fnatic do have enough utility to try and take that mid control, but get right. Look at this guy right now. They are taking fights that you wouldn't expect. Maybe outstays his welcome, but information gathered aplenty. They know that the A site is where the hit's coming now. Maybe a counter boost just to wrap around the back. Freiburg get up and over. And Exist joining as well. The double stack coming out. Okay, this is nice. JW took too long as well. They were hesitant on the site. And now Freiburg does manage to find the planter. He saw the bomb get dropped. He knows it's not crossed yet. So now if Pit can get the spot on that, that's perfect. But still, Dennis is there and Freiburg still doing the damage. This is NiP playing a bit of a sick game of Counter-Strike, if I'm honest. Now Dennis in a 1v4. He's been in these situations before in this game already, but bomb in such a bad spot. Surely not going to be able to make this out.
Nope. Coasts right into Forest. He's been hitting all of his shots so far tonight. And yeah, this is a completely different beast. And yeah, it just doesn't look like Pyth wants to go back to that AWP at all. That's the second time they've left the op out. So just stick to what's working. Allow for Pyth to get a bit more aggressive with that rifle if he wants. And finally we have Fnatic. After what, 8 rounds of force buying, we finally have Fnatic decide to actually take a pause here.
Yeah.
Let's take a little bit of a breather, guys.
And as daunting as the Fnatic pause is, right, it is a scary thing. Because normally, I'm pretty sure someone like worked out every time they've called a pause, they've come back in that game almost like 1-to-1. But as an NiP, you've got to be almost satisfied. You're like, we forced them to do that.
Yeah.
We are 8-0 up at the moment. We're in a great position. We're playing out of our minds. This has got to be pretty damn impressive and got to feel nice for NiP. And Threats can be sitting there going, all right, guys. You've got someone now behind them to sit there and kind of mull through everything. What are they going to adapt to? What does Fnatic go for after these pauses?
This is where it gets a little weird for NiP, though. Because it's like these rounds have been happening so quickly that it's like NiP, they don't have time to think about it. They're just playing, right? They're just playing their game and focusing on that. This is like where there are layers to this, where Fnatic, they get to take a breather, but they're also allowing NiP to kind of like sit there and absorb what's been happening. And this is where things could get a little hairy for NiP if they start believing, oh yeah, we got this, guys, let's do it. We're gonna wreck them, and then they get overconfident, they get too cocky, whatever. Yep. Fnatic will punish them for that. So I'm curious to see what kind of NiP we'll see coming out of this timeout as well, because Fnatic, I wouldn't even be surprised if Fnatic weren't even talking about anything.
No,
they're just like it's like Vugo doing the talking, and the rest of the players are just kind of sitting there, just like calming down, deep breath, get your head back into the game.
Yep.
Because they're not out of it yet. I mean, Fnatic.
It's Fnatic.
Yeah, they can always come back. So it's another force as well, though.
It is Fnatic after all, I guess.
I almost want to just see JW go for that AWP, though. But I guess he's just not feeling it. I mean, we saw Olafmeister had the op last time, so.
I'm actually surprised in Forest not AWPing as well. Like, his AWPing on the T side has been really nice. There's a couple of wallbangs he's got lined up in mid. Love to see if he actually breaks out, but we're not going to get to see much of the T side if it keeps going at this rate. It's NiP already 8-0 up. This is looking very dominant, but as you said, let's see how NiP have kind of taken this after that little bit of a timeout called by Fnatic there. Do they stay aggressive? Do they get outdone on this? There's a good few smokes with Fnatic they can put down. Could possibly try and isolate Pit out in mid, but he's backed away this time. And now Fnatic could be taking their time on this. Going to be trying to build their way in cautiously for once.
Well, they realize that NiP have been pushing aggressively nearly every round somewhere on the map. So finally, it's like just slow down, wait a little bit, see if you can't catch somebody out of position. Once that minute mark starts ticking around, NiP are going to start feeling the impulse to go again, to start pushing again, to try and get info on the map. We can see there Python mid off a short. He's trying to go for those little shoulder jiggle peeks into mid, see if he can spot somebody moving in from garage. This is what Fnatic are waiting for. They're waiting for NiP to get a little overexcited and to push out here and get caught. Nicely done there by Dennis, and there's the first kill for Fnatic in the round.
Yeah, this could be a massive B hit coming in as well. Forrest has put himself in a corner, which could be a real issue if they don't check. Wonderful, but it's Fnatic, you'd assume they would. But okay, Forrest gets a free shot towards Flusher, but can't make anything more of that. As now Freiburg's got 4 players about to push towards him. Exist and Get Right quick on the rotate, but Freiburg not able to capitalize on anything. It's down to Get Right and Exist here to deny it, and there's Get Right from above, raining in the fire and fury. Bomb's now dropped. He even gets a chance to take down Olaf, and he gets tagged up. This is unbelievable how a Fnatic getting so much damage, and they're taking these fights, and NiP are winning them at the moment.
Non-stop, and now Exist is in position. They're going to be able to pull a fast one, peek them together. Olafmeister's desperately looking for the angle to turn this into a 1v1, and Exist just wins straight up. Olaf too low on HP, not able to take that fight. That was Get Right to the rescue, though. What is this? Like, the Forest and Get Right combo, is it back? Because we've seen Get Right hit some pretty sick shots over in A main as well. Now he just rotates onto that B site and lays waste.
Like, how long ago was it you saw Fnatic lose a 4v2? Almost a 5v2 at that point. This is not normal. Normally they trade out well, but Get Right in such a hard position to trade with. It's It's not like a one and done. He can just jiggle peek that, and look at the damage. That was.
It's a it's a lack of it's just a lack of respect actually. I think from Fnatic basically they're having to learn that actually NiP are able to do some damage here. Because if that smoke is going out onto upper, I'm wondering if that was communicated to Olafmeister, would he have been challenging the way that he did if he knew that that smoke was coming in? Because otherwise you wait for the smoke to bloom and then you go by scot-free. You don't take any damage, and then you just worry about the after plan.
And look at this read. NiP know what's coming their way. They already had 3 players basically ready on the jump off towards A. Couple of nades and smokes giving away the game here for Fnatic as JW, Crimson, Olaf about to break into the side. Exist gets swept away. Get right fully white. Tries to back around towards short, but got himself in a nice little spot actually. Maybe he gets a little bit of freedom, but they've got to be checking for him here. They hear the tags coming out. Get right, you better be able to make your move. He's trying to stay calm under pressure, but the bomb yet to go down. Doesn't really matter at this point. There's 4 players standing for Fnatic, and I doubt Frost and Freiburg can maybe pull that magic off again.
This should be a fairly clean-cut situation there. JW with a nice spray transfer onto Freiburg to rob that flush of that kill. A little bit of hesitation there from the rotation as well, and from Freiburg. I mean, that's just a nasty situation. And Fnatic finally, that no-fear approach that they've been showing so far,
finally breaks it.
Yeah, finally breaks it. And they've because these rounds have been so close, down to 2 players, 1 player, 1v1 clutches, 2v2s, etc. NiP don't have that huge bank. So Fnatic win the 1 round, and now NiP are pretty much backs to the wall as far as the economy is concerned. So Fnatic, maybe the patience, maybe they're just like, they're like a tank, man. They just don't slow down. They grind you to dust eventually. They'll catch you. It's like the slow death by Zamboni, NiP just crawling on the ice. They're bloody, but they're still alive.
They're still trying, but don't make me think about Tank Seminar. I get flashbacks, all right?
I didn't even think about that.
But that was a nice bit of play from Fnatic. Just going back to default A's almost, and it works really well. NiP trying to take fights they just can't handle, and now it looks like Fnatic have gone into that mindset. Okay, guys, we are champions. We do not lose these rounds. What the hell is this? Okay. Pit just gift it over, buddy. Why not? And now here we go. Freiburg going to get picked up. Fnatic starting to go through the motions, it seems. Yeah,
and also NiP, just every single fight this round has been, somebody peeking into 2 guns. Nearly, apart from that boost one there at the end. But, it's just, these guys, they just keep getting wiped out. There's the flash, there's the peek together. Forrest, not a thing that he could do. So, yeah, that was definitely much more in line with what we're familiar with from Fnatic, and also a little bit with what we're, what we expect out of NiP these days. Just a little bit of tension, Exist trying to take that fight straight up. He dies, then Get Right feels forced to do something, so he dies, and then the A side is open, and then the rotators picked off one at a time. That's just a textbook defense crumble. Well, do you remember what you were saying about that timeout being called? What if NiP get overconfident? What if they start believing it a little bit too much, taking these overzealous fights? It might be a case of it, but okay, just going to play in the smoke, are we? Olafmeister's having a great time. He does get taken down in the end, but does catch 2 for his trouble. Freiburg's going to recover a gun, no armor to supplement it, and a missed shot from JW will mean there's a chance here, 27 HP, but hey, JW, of course he's going to go back for the peak. And now we're down to this 4v3. It doesn't seem all that likely here for NiP, and I think the damage is going to be minimized at this point. That's just JW for you as well. It's like, hey, there's a bunch of guys with Tech 9 or P250s, etc. coming at us. You know what? I'm just going to go over there point blank with an AWP. It's like, okay, bro, you have 1 shot and then you're dead most likely. He did play at least from an angle that he could fall back from, but man, yeah, JW is always, he's just got no fear. And now he's going to go in for more. Boop. JW, man. What is this player? He's a real menace. Well, at least Freiburg's got an AK. That's something. Considering the money is actually pretty trash for an IP, that's actually not a bad thing at all. I guess round loss bonus will start, building maybe soon enough, and they're starting to get some bank there, but it's, what, 4K and max alone? That's really not great. And you look at Fnatic, you've already got them up to 9K. They're so quick at building this money up. It's unreal on Fnatic. It goes from what looked like an absolute thrashing to now, okay, well, those last 3 rounds, or at least 2 rounds, should I say, have been so dominant now. It's like, okay, we've got something coming out. We've got a double AWP now. Olaf and JW picking that up. 0 on the NiP side, of course, as now even Pit's going to be playing with a lesser rifle, let's say, as this is now Fnatic looking a little bit stronger here. Oh, yeah. No, this is starting to look like the Fnatic we all know and love. It's NiP who are starting to realize, wait a second, they're getting into this game, guys. They're waking up. We were hitting at 100% there. Fnatic were maybe at 60. Now we're starting to see, it's like the revs in the engine. That engine's starting to get warmer here for Fnatic. there's the flash again. Get right getting flashed into A main, but Fnatic, they should have heard that. They should be able to take care of it. Yeah, Crims finds Get right. Pyth gets caught by Olaf, and we're just seeing the systematic demolition of the NiP defense at this point, although Exist trying to put up a fight.
He even almost got JW then. It was very, very close to that shot, but JW was crouching under it.
Oh.
What? Olaf just getting mid-air picks at the moment. This is unreal. So now, you know, in between a rock and a hard place, pick your poison. JW or Olaf, where'd you fancy it? Well, Forest picked Olaf and actually won that, but at what cost? He's down to, what, 15 HP? Freiburg, 23? Oh, the switch, Freiburg. Oh, out of ammo, actually. He had no bullets left. The flash comes out. Crim's going to be able to line them up. Knocks him down, and that's just JW. So, well handled in the end. Got a little bit close, but still, Fnatic finding their footing, and their money's great. They can just drop guns aplenty. And again, poor stuff for NiP here. Yeah,
no, it's a struggle for NiP. The one saving grace here for NiP is that if their confidence gets rocked a little bit here at the end of the first half, they can always say, you know, we did come out ahead. This is definitely a map that could go 8-7 or even 8-7 favoring the T side. So, you know, we get 9-6, best case scenario, right, for Fnatic. We get 9-6. We're still ahead in this, guys. Let's go. And then Threat, I'm sure that Threat will have a clever strat or two for us in store, for us here on Cash, because on Ace, when he was running Team Acer, he always had fun strats. NiP, it'll come down to whether they've been able to put in the time to properly learn how to execute those.
You started to see it during Katowice on things like Inferno. That's what I'm excited for, is because you started to see that brilliance coming through at the moment. They're just getting absolutely smashed. It seems like such a long time ago since NiP were in the lead. It's like Fnatic just hit the switch and it's like, yeah, we gave you some hope, and then we took it away.
Isn't that like, that would be so fitting for Fnatic as well, just like the level of cruelty involved?
Just give them the first 9 rounds, and then we'll just.
This is the torture of hope. You know, it's like a spy who's been held in captivity, right, interrogated, and they keep saying, oh, well, you know, you can leave tomorrow, and they let him walk up to the bridge. And he's about to make it across the bridge back home, right? He can see the guards on the other side. He's so close, and what happens? Olaf Meister calmly walks up behind him and puts the black hood on again, and he's back in the room. He wakes up again the next morning, and it's all a bad dream. He thought he was going home to his family, Pansy, but no. NiP, they're going for another round of interrogation now. And it's never ending. Fnatic, they're monsters.
They really are. There's something to be said about these boys that is unreal to have to deal with. But we've got the double orb finally for NiP. They've finally got enough money to bring it back out, so maybe they can fight their captors, but that's the start you'd need. The double kill comes in. Freiburg and Get Right. The duo in mid. Smash down the two opposing, which is Dennis and Flusher, leaving 3 standing. JW's made absolute mincemeat out of Exist. No flip to do the same on B. Hit that shot as comfortably though. Now 4v3.
Oh, clever angle here from Forest though. This might catch him off guard. JW in the meantime is just wrecking the A defense alone, and so eventually NiP are going to crack. And yeah, they are starting to rotate Freiburg back through to mid, so he's going to get over onto that A site, which means that Fnatic are going to be perfectly poised to just launch themselves onto the B site here if they so wish. I mean, that bomb is still waiting. It could go up in defense if it wants. Hey, this is that waiting game. You know, who's going to crack? 1 minute left. JW just keeps making noise. He's like, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. I want this candy.
Oh, JW, look at this guy. All right, so now what are Fnatic going to do? They've kind of pulled apart NiP. You've got Pit on A, Freiburg in mid, and Forest soloing out on B. They're going to go straight up through mid. This is going to give Freiburg a chance. He could see this for a second. But they know the bomb's there. Now it's down to Pit to hit these shots. He knows there's 2 at least in mid, probably a 3rd at this point. And now Forest, how can he support this? He doesn't want to over-rotate. He doesn't want to give himself up. So that means B's completely open. But 20 seconds, they've got to commit somewhere. And look at it, Fnatic. Couple of seconds lost in that. But there we go, double molly out. They're going to try and make the cross. Forest only has the AWP as well. I say only. Needs to hit it. Does it. That's the bomb down. 10 seconds. JW backed away to set up for it. Now JW on the run, 6 seconds. He's got to plant it where it's left. He fakes it out. He goes for the fight. He doesn't hit the no-scope. He has to back away. What was that, JW? But it doesn't matter. The round is NiP's. So they just about close out double figures for the second half.
That's so sick.
JW, man.
But that is such a sick call from Forest as well. He knows all he has to do is keep him off this bomb plant because his teammate is so far away. I mean, that was really cool. You might wonder, you know, like, oh no, Forest, right? Why are you running, Forest? Just wait. But no, there was like 5 seconds left. Exactly. JW, I mean, he hits the follow-up, but this is irrelevant. This is like a low-impact shot because the job is done. Forest, that's the thing, you know? He wins without having to fire a shot.
I'm so excited to see this T-side. The T-side was what I was actually starting to like from NiP, but it was like a small liking. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay, they've got some nice little plays coming out. They've got, you know, some nice A takes. Okay, you know, you start thinking, all right, this is pretty nice. It's probably not up to the standard of, you know, Fnatic on the CT side or whatever, but you could maybe find a couple of nice pieces in that. But NiP getting off to such a good start actually means we're going to get to see, and obviously Fnatic bringing a couple of rounds back, see actually some decent T-sides coming out for NiP if they fancy their chances here. And again, what has the threat got up his sleeve into this?
They've had enough time now to really come up with a fine-tuned strat, a la G2, right?
Yep.
You know, G2, they have that B execute. There's a real joy to watch. It's just super, super sick and clean. And I mean, we got to watch it from Madi's perspective yesterday, and you're just like, how do you survive if you're a CT when thing is coming at you? It's just this monster. So G2 have that strat. NiP have had long enough now to be able to develop something along those lines, perhaps. So I'm hoping that we see some very, you know, fine-tuned, you know, well-executed strat that comes out that allows them to just pick up that key rifle round that will give them this first map here, and a huge upset versus Fnatic.
The one thing that I'm trying to throw my mind back, I think it was NiP used to have the really like well laid out A hit that was on Cash. It was like not the first people to do the smoke towards the upper catwalk, but one of the first teams to do that, then complement it with the mollies to clear out every corner. I think it was not obviously the last Katowice, the one prior to that when NiP were kind of in this weird flux again, but at least picking up a couple more wins. So they previously had stuff, but now that's kind of been undone. Everyone knows it and they know how to counter it. It's not exactly new. So again, what have NiP come up with? People saying that maybe Threat's not had enough time. I'm not sure about that. I think it's plenty time. The major's not far away. You've got to make time. Whether it's like 1, 2 pieces, kind of refine a couple of others, go through it all. That's all you need to do, I guess, at this point for him. It's not like these players are just, you know, learning from ground up. They have more than the basics locked down. So how much can he kind of embellish on that and build off it is what we're here to see. And this is the time we've got to see it from NiP. Every single official game for them has to come through as like, all right, use it as almost practice in a way. Yeah, sure, the Pro League's, you know, a priority in some regards, but there's no better practice than official games. So got to be careful not to show everything, but certainly got to bring their A game here against Fnatic.
Yeah, they can actually get to test some stuff, but I think the real question, you know, that begs an answer is, you know, just how much time for the division can they find, you know, during all this prac? I mean, that's the real problem
I know MBK's been hitting
That's
it up.
the real
like,
problem here. You know, Major's only just, you know, barely a couple weeks away, like 15 days, not even. And you got the division out. I mean, priorities, Pansy. It's a tough life.
I've not even played it. Like it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't ring true for me. I haven't even tried it. Stardew Valley, on the other hand.
See, that's the thing, though. How could you know that it doesn't ring true? It's an FPS MMO. How could they mess that up? And then you can even justify it to yourself, right? You can even justify it and say, but you know, I'm working on my aim. I'm keeping my muscle memory, right? It's all good, guys, right? I can carry this over into CS for sure.
See, I don't know. It never appealed to me. I don't know why. Maybe I should give it a try. Maybe I'm just going to keep playing Stardew Valley and work on my farm because that's such a better thing to do.
Stop.
It's so relaxing, Semler. You have no idea. It's like it's the little bit of happiness when I go back home.
Is this like Harvest Moon?
Yeah, basically.
Basically, yeah. Because Harvest Moon, the first one, was like super dope.
See, everyone who enjoyed that really likes Stardew Valley.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the next big thing. So if you liked it, maybe try it out.
Okay,
it's pretty sick. It's
then.
actually pretty sick. It's
Like-
taken all my time away from the division. So
It was like Harvest Moon for Game Boy way back in the day. Like that one was.
absolutely sick. It's very, very similar. I know a lot of fans have kind of like come across. Yeah, try it
no.
out. I'll put it on your Steam right now. You can just have a little go during this.
Stop.
But all right, back into the game. We have a game afoot now. NiP, you're on the T side. This is where it really comes down to it. Fnatic, they let you get a little bit of hope, but will they be crushing it in these first couple of rounds?
That's what we're about to find out. JW has been pretty lethal with the pistol lately. They're going to be walking into Dennis and Crims here on the A side. And yeah, this is just that explosion. Glock trade all the way, and a 1-for-1 trade, and NiP will take that any day. Now Crims is the one who's trying to play the odds there, basically, hoping to get lucky with a shot as they try and push onto the side of NiP. And it's Olafmeister here backing him up. And he even spots the boost, so the element of surprise has been lost here for Pyth. And oh, what a shot! All right, peekaboo.
Sick stuff going out from Pyth there, just making the most of it, and most people would be pleased to take down Dennis of all players, but there's still Flusher alive, and Flusher still kicking, finds one on the way through. Now Crimson JW on the retake, not going to be hitting the shots as cleanly as needed. Now Crimson the 1v2, he does have the kit, but no armor, but he's still found exist, and now the 1v1 Freiburg. You better be ready, because Crims is hungry, and Crims will not get his dinner tonight. There we go, Freiburg gets it in, and now, okay, NiP get the first round in the second half.
11-5 now, and sure enough, Fnatic go for the force.
Oh, Fnatic.
Fnatic. JW not even prioritizing an op.
CZ full armor, just like screw it.
This is like, what? It's not 2014 anymore, boys. Like, the CZ, it's good, but, you know, okay, whatever. I mean, Fnatic are perfectly capable of winning a force like this. They've done it many times in the past, but I guess you know, it's that gamble where you don't want NiP to be getting up to the 13 rounds, because then you have so little room for error. So you really are going for a big risk here if you're Fnatic. You're saying, okay, you won the pistol, we'll stop you short here at 11 and give ourselves a whole lot more room to work with here for the rest of the half. Problem is that NiP, they of course they're aware of this. So you can see they're just spread out all across the map, holding pretty far back. Still kind of grouped as well. Force and Freiburg using the buddy system. Get right would be a hard target to hit that far back into T-spawn. Same for Exist, right? So everybody just playing really safely here on the NiP side.
A hell of a lot of mollies too. So they can leave it fairly late and still get onto these sites comfortably enough, but you've got to be scared in a way. As Fnatic are deadly, but it shouldn't work. But that kind of summarizes Fnatic. Sometimes it shouldn't work, but it does. And here we go, Get Right. Your first challenge. JW, Flusher, and Olaf. All of NiP are coming around as well. This is a B hit, and they better be ready for this. I want to see if there's a set play here. It's going to be a little bit kind of pulled together, but looks like the flashes can come out. No real close smokes, and it does still work out for NiP until then. JW's going to get one back, but they do take the B side. Nothing too fancy about it. It was pretty dry run, standardized at this point. But there we go. Crims and Dennis left, and I guess if it works, it works.
I'm glad that we watched that from Get Right's perspective as well, because we really saw how, that HE Molotov combo into back checkered. If that Molotov hits with the HE hitting that close behind it, there's no way you're getting out of there alive. So Get Right doesn't even have to look there. If somebody was there, he's dead, right? So just focus on upper. That's when Olafmeister rotates in. It takes Get Right a while, but he still gets the kill. I mean, like, that was just very nicely done from NiP. Perfectly handled that they perfectly handled that anti-eco situation.
Yeah, it was just very nice. It was clean enough. They only lost one player. Perfectly fine. I think Freiburg even had a SMG as well, so
yeah,
not even the biggest loss. Yeah, absolutely fine. So you got the 3 rifles still remaining, Exist, Forest, and Pit with those. And yeah, they just made it work. Surprised that maybe the CZs didn't come out a little bit more. Flusher normally so proficient with that. Normally at least gets 1 or does a lot of damage on it. And this is the thing we were considering though. Now look at the money.
That's the thing. It's like Fnatic are counting on like chaos, right? That's when they thrive. Is that they basically just go into overdrive whenever it's like this chaotic situation, and that's where these CZs really come into play, because maybe you get a flank on somebody up close, boom, you annihilate them, and then you go on to the next one, right? And you just try and roll things out of control for NiP. The only thing is that NiP, they didn't try and just rush blindly onto the site. They made full use of all their Molotovs, all their Molotovs and the nades. So they made sure that Fnatic, they are the ones who are moving out into the open. There's no element of surprise, and when NiP decide to take the fight, they have every advantage. So that's really like the textbook kind of style that you want if you're dealing with an anti-eco. It's just, abuse your nades and stay long range so those CZs can't catch you off guard. It's really nicely done, actually. I'm very glad to see that from NiP. That's the kind of stuff that we're looking for here, the kind of, the influence of threat that NiP desperately need.
And it's the approach they take, because before sometimes they did try... Oh, wow. Okay. Nicely done. All right, Pit. There we go. Nice little pickup, working off the back of that. And they'll just follow this through. But it's more the approach to the game and the seemingly... the mental stance they take to how they play out these rounds. Sometimes, it looked like NiP kind of got caught up in that chaos before when they played Fnatic, or any other team for that matter. But once threats come in, they take these rounds methodically, cleaner. And that's what I'm looking forward to. A little bit of a double molly,
No, MBK
one quad. To MBK. Okay, 1 went to MBK. Nice. A little bit of a overextension. And Flusher doing some work. That's 2 down with only a USPS. Get right. Get your gun out at this point. You're going to be in a little bit of trouble if not, and there we go, takes the fight cleanly towards Olaf. That's a nice little pickup. And they know the Flush is probably being held back, maybe going to fall back himself, and he gets taken down. So again, I thought both those mollies then went towards quad, but actually, it's spot on, it did bounce towards MBK corner.
Yeah, 1 to MBK, 1 to quad. Don't have to worry about that angle anymore. I mean, you can't account for Flusha, just going ham when you're playing the best in the world. Even if the guy's got a USP, right? He can find kills. But, they did, again, NiP very thorough with how they've been handling these last 2 rounds, not really giving Fnatic a chance to get that eco upset. And so now it's the worst case scenario for Fnatic. NiP are on 13 rounds. If NiP win this round, Fnatic again are going to be force buying, and it gets really nasty. So, oh no, Crims, what was that smoke?
What happened?
So that's, exactly. A little bit of frustration coming out here for sure. Is
he trying to tell us where
he's trying to tell? He's trying to tell his mate basically. It bounced off of that.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden his teammate has to come over here and use the smoke early, and that's really not going to help the defense here. 1:20 left.
A bit of fluster among Fnatic, looking maybe a little taken aback by what NiP's been doing. Again, the Molotov's used to clear out close corners where normally you might find a player lurking or two, but no one moving into checkers this time. At least for Fnatic, is now NiP going to try and do the kind of boost back in towards mid. Get right, going to go over there, try and get some mid control. And no massive commitment from NiP, still trying to keep their bets relatively open, but JW finds the fight. He went out of his way to find Get Right, but will he expect Freiburg in the same spot? Or does he think Exist is the only player still by B?
No, I'm wondering if Get Right was expecting Freiburg to be holding his back. Maybe just a little bit of miscommunication there. Because JW peeks in just as Freiburg is looking back towards B halls. So maybe Get Right, he's watching mid. Easy flank there for JW. So NiP have to keep their cool here. They have to calm down and just keep focused. Single member left here on the B side. Although JW has rotated back up to upper, he still has that M4. He's going to be able to spot out Exist. So there's a little bit of info. There's the shoulder peek. That nade coming in as well should tell them that 2 players are there. JW just challenges, takes out Exist, goes for more as well. And in the meantime, Olofmeister's having an impact. That was through checkered. And this is just falling apart here for NiP. Individual battles at the end of the day, and Fnatic just come out way ahead.
Yeah, and that's Fnatic getting a step back in the game now. If NiP got 14, Money was going to be looking pretty tired by them for Fnatic. Now they're starting to look, okay, well, we've got a round on the board now. Let's start building off it. And there was the first gun round coming through, of course. And as you said, maybe a little bit of miscommunication then. Freiburg maybe not being in the right place at the right time or looking the right way. I assumed maybe he could find something being in checkers ahead of where maybe Fnatic predicted it, but not the case. Olaf did cheat over pretty early and actually get there pretty quickly. So NiP, again, they seem to be running very similar, sort of similar plays. They barely touched the A site so far into these rounds, at least in the gun rounds. Not really looked towards it. Generally been working that B site, but last time maybe going to have to adjust where they're looking now.
And well, now it's going back to a default hold here for NiP. So they realize, okay, let's just slow it down again, guys. Wait and see if we can't force some kind of reaction in the end, and it will be the B-split smokes coming out here, cutting mid in half. Flashes through, allows Freiburg to start pushing up. And it looks like there's going to be a bit of a cheat attempt coming in from Exist, and somehow Olofmeister loses that duel. That should be a duel that Olofmeister wins 10 out of 10. How does he actually fluff the shot there?
See, I love those smokes for isolating the players being aggressive mid. Maybe something they were expecting, but you should never lose out in that situation. But it is brought back by JW, but quickly exchanged away again. Get Right finds him trying to cross back towards the B site. So where does Fnatic try and make up that kill next? Or have they lost enough? Are they going to have to just try and bolster their numbers towards the site now?
It seems like they're just content to sit and wait. Get that lockdown going. Dennis is in a pretty decent spot. Smoke goes down. Door opens up. Pyth removes him from the corner. Now it's all on Crims, one of the very best players in this sort of position, but not going to be able to do more than just get the 1 kill. So a 1v3 here, 4 flush out to just make the play on. Doesn't perhaps know that all 3 players are here. Peeks right back into it, but I mean, that is so sick. He eats that flash timing, and it's actually Forrest who's off timing. Flush is just so crazy good. Because it's like Forrest actually hesitated there. Maybe like it looked like he was slow to switch his weapons or something, but like some kind of like error actually causes him not to step out into Flush's headshot.
See, this is the thing. Individually, Fnatic is still absolutely sick people. And you may only see it in moments when they're not on complete form. But those couple of moments are pretty terrifying. Now, NiP have got themselves into that ever so important 14th round, though. They're getting very close to closing out this map. It's, again, maybe getting flashbacks to their previous game at Katowice, like, well, we haven't won until we literally get that final round and we're done. You can never be satisfied with Fnatic. But this is certainly a good picture here at this point. Pitt's been doing that kind of vent Molly for quite some time. JW not be able to move much of that this time, not be able to get up there. But Olaf, again, sitting on the very verge of this smoke, giving NiP the control that they need. Freiburg allowed to sneak himself through a touch here, and no Exist willing to challenge this time, or will he? No.
Do we have the counter boost? Yes. Oh, yes. There we go. Surprise, surprise, Freiburg. Take a nap. Forrest, Python, Get Right, the last 3 alive here for NiP, and they're going to start having to gather up, I think. They might go for the boost. It looks like, yeah, they're going to probably boost Python to mid, or is it going to be, yeah, no, it's going to be Forrest. He's hit that headshot, but Olaf, he doesn't need to repeak, and this is what Fnatic are so very good at. Once they get that advantage, very rarely do they make the errors that, they try and force things unnecessarily. Like Olofmeister there, all he wants is to know, is there anybody mid? If yes, okay, back off and just, set up the defense further along the line. And so it just makes NiP's job harder because now they don't have an entry kill to make things easier for him to get onto a site. Although JW just standing out in the middle of nowhere, that will help. Flusha trying to delay it, trying to take as much of that Molotov damage as he could. Just doesn't pan out, and NiP hit the perfect spot on the map.
All right, Pit's planting towards, I guess, Checkers, maybe, I guess, towards T-Spawn here, but the retake's going to be 2 through CT at least for now. Olaf towards the vents. If they go for it, no one has a kit on Fnatic, and their money is far from great, but you don't want to be playing against NiP on 15. But Geralt on the perfect luck. That timing, so well framed here. Pit on site, you've got Forest watching the push-up, and there you go. Forest lines him up, knocks him down, and that's NiP getting on to something I didn't expect, map point.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting match point either. And now, it's just reset Fnatic completely. This is it. NiP, are they about to dumpster Fnatic on cash?
Do you know, I almost thought, okay, there's a possibility in map 2. There's a chance.
Well, this is like, 6 rounds, 7 rounds. If anything below 7 rounds equals dumpster, right? You just got dumpstered. I believe it was Thorin who coined this this like
is
metric.
This theory, yeah.
No, it's just like, below these rounds, and then, if you're between 7 and 10, it's just a loss. Then it was a close loss if you got above that. Anything below 7, though, is just like,
dumpster.
You got bodied.
Yeah.
Definitely not expecting that from Fnatic.
Didn't expect it from NiP either. What a way to get this game going. This makes me so excited for map 2 now. Okay, NiP. I expect this to be a close. Maybe I should never expect anything against Fnatic at this point, but this looks all but over. As now Pip going to find Crims is going to be leaving just to alive, and Olaf and Dennis, you got to be reeling in this one. Sat there going, what the hell just happened, guys? How did we just lose a game to NiP on cash?
It's so hard to, you can't be perfect all the time, right? So Fnatic, we're witnessing one of those games where, yes, indeed, everybody, they are mortal. They're
humans.
They're like Asian gods, right? The gods, they go out for a nap sometimes. That sometimes they're just out to lunch. Horrible stuff could be happening. Sometimes they just don't see everything because they're humans, right? Yeah. That's what Fnatic are right now.
We've finally seen the mortal of Fnatic that's been kind of impossible for the last God knows how long, but look at it, here we go. Last man standing is Olaf Meister, and you need a 1v5, and Helly's going to walk into the fire and flames just to end it a little sooner as NiP picking up an astounding victory. I do not know what to say, Sam.
Oh, dude.
This is sick.
That was NiP, just coming out the gates, ultra aggressive in a week, like a Fnatic that at the beginning of this just didn't look very crisp at all. They were missing smokes. They weren't peeking with each other. They were, taking fights that 9 times out of 10 they would have won before, and then this is the 10th time where they lose it every time. So for the first 6 or 7 rounds, it just wasn't looking like Fnatic. Whereas NiP just looked like they were warmed up and ready to go. They got into that fight and they just took it to Fnatic straight off the bat. So I'm just glad to see that NiP finally were able to just say, okay, CT side went well. We got more than enough rounds. Doesn't matter that we had a speed bump.
We had a little bump at the end.
Yeah,
but
that's all right. But then T side, they actually kept their cool. That's a big hurdle for NiP to get over. That's actually something that makes it. It's a feel good thing to see NiP be able to pull that off because they've struggled for so long.
I'm taken aback for words a little bit here. I'm getting ready for map 2, if I'm honest. But before we get there, we do need to hear from the analysis desk, so let's head over there.
Lauren's taken aback, and so are we, actually. A couple of eyebrows raised as NiP pick up the win. There seemed to be a bit of a discussion between the two casters there, whether or not that was, NiP delivering in full capacity, looking very tight-knit, or whether or not it was a little bit of lazy, fanatical, weak Fnatic. We saw missed smokes, missed mollies, missed
everything. Missed shots.
Knives and smokes.
Yeah.
Missed spray, that JW. I bet we've still got that replay.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally just a little bit of an interesting one. Was that all NiP, or was that a bit of a both?
I think that was a bit of both. Honestly, it's very easy to tell when Fnatic comes out flat. This was more like what we saw in the second half versus Mouse Sports coming out of Fnatic, and hopefully they'll wake up for Inferno because they're not that team they were with Pronax, where you always feel they had a solid chance of doing it, basically winning a game. That they just looked outmatched.
There was a mild moment. I mean, they had a great 9-0 start. You got immediately okay, good. But when, like we say, when they got to 9-5, it's like, don't really go to 9-6. This is just not telling of the half.
But you know what? It's telling of Fnatic.
It's
telling of Fnatic that we sit there at 9-0 going, oh god, they could do this. It goes 9-1. We're like, oh, here it goes. Like literally, they're at that point of dominance in the scene at this point where they are 0-9. 0-9 down, and we sit there going, you know what, this is going to happen. This could very well happen. There's so much belief, and maybe it's present in their opponents, and that's kind of why it starts happening. This time, however, NiP shut it down dead. Yeah,
and to be fair, it's not like Fnatic were completely out of it just from the pistol as well. Yeah. They did have a couple of close rounds. You had the 1v1 with Flish and Pith, regardless of what he wants to call himself, right? Well, where he ends up with, survives with 3 HP. That could have been a big turning point for Fnatic, allowed him to get back into the game way sooner. Fnatic wouldn't, or NiP wouldn't have that dominant economy going, and all of a sudden we look at a very different half.
And if you look at, I think it was the 4th round was the first rifle round for Fnatic. They lost the 4-on-2, and Lauren said it at the time. It's like you just don't see Fnatic losing 2-on-4s. This is like does not happen. Ironically, it did happen to NiP last time they fought each other, so they'll be quite happy to get revenge on that. It was Get Right and Exist, I think, that they managed to pull it off.
You know, I want to also highlight is kind of step away from Fnatic and actually focus on the strengths that we saw from NiP. What did they display that kind of caught our eye? For me personally, I think it was great to see the kind of the Molotovs making more and more of an appearance. We saw it both on A and B executes. They were checking, like on B, Checker's corner, they were checking deep on site headshot without firing a bullet, clearing paths for their opponents. And this is something that we're seeing more and more as the strategy develops and Molotovs continue to be around. More and more of this, I think, is that the threat effect? Is that safe to say?
I think that's safe to say that that's the threat effect. If anyone's ever spoken to Threat at an event or just playing games with him or anything like that, they know that he loves his Molotovs.
Right.
That he really loves them. And every time he watches a game, sees someone lose an anti-eco, right? Because they didn't really want to, spend those $400 on a Molotov to clear out that corner, and then they get stomped because of it. He gets so triggered by that. So this is definitely a threat, just sitting there with a whip behind the back of the NiP players.
Do you want to lose an anti-eco, or do you want to spend the money? What do you want to
exactly.
do?
Because it's a way less of an investment to lose $400 to a Molotov that potentially it doesn't do anything at all than losing 4,400.
They were so fluid as well. I mean, as a team, like NiP were moving well as a unit. They weren't individually checking. Ironically, we remember the Molotov Rubino on Inferno. We mentioned it then. It's like, you got a Molotov. There's a guy in Cubby. You could throw it. Or you could save it for a bit, or save it for a rainy day. I'm not too sure what. But like you say, they were making use of it.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely a really good sign for NiP. And also Forrest playing very big. He's the one who got them off to a really, really, really good start. And surprisingly, it wasn't with the op, but I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's kind of if he was feeling the groove with the rifle.
Yeah.
Even with the cheeky knife in the first round.
Even with. We did highlight Forrest, and he did deliver by the bucket load. Now we're going to take a quick break, though. But when we come back, it's going to be the second map between these two teams. It is going to be on Inferno. I'm certainly getting myself ready for this one. If you want to reflect on that previous map, do be sure to check out the Score Esports application. You can see that and everything else, the major qualifiers, the major itself coming up. You can see all the info you need for the entirety of CS, both North America and the EU in the Pro League, breaking down every single game, stats for individuals and teams. Check it out, and while you do that,